now.
Hi and welcome everybody. This is Inelia Benz for Ascension101.com, and I'm here with nearly 200 people. Would that be correct, Daniela?
Yeah, that's the number of people that signed up. Some of them said they won't be able to make it during the call, but they still get access to the recording afterwards.
Excellent, excellent. The energy is just so amazing. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energy. I'm so happy to be here today and so overwhelmed really with the amazing energy and all of you co-creating this amazing thing that we're doing. So as you know, this is officially a fundraiser for the Global Ascension Center, and basically there's a few questions that I would like to address before we start covering other questions. I would like to talk about the center first, although of course your questions don't have to be limited just to this topic. It can be about anything. And it has been just a few days since I first publicly published the information about the creation of the Global Ascension Center. And lots of things have happened since then. And obviously I've had to process a lot of things myself with regards to the center. There were a couple of things that were really important that I saw. One of them was that when I first was asked to do the center, I always assumed that, okay, I will just get the money, buy the land, build the center, and blah, it's there, right there, everybody can use it, and it's very simple. But when I was looking at that, and I actually did try a few things to manifest the money, and it wasn't working, so I went back into meditation, and I thought, okay, what's happening here? Because this should be really simple. It was a request from Source, and really should just come up, when things, it does tend to happen when Source makes a request of any of us. Things will manifest very quickly. So what was happening here? And I sat with it, and I was meditating on it, and then finally, the answer came that it was very much to do with the whole co-creative process. I was to facilitate the creation of the Center for Humanity, but I wasn't going to be in any way or form the owner or the sole creator. That would have been really tapping into the old paradigm of the savior, perhaps, or the provider, something that somebody who provides things so that others can simply come in and use them. And that's not what Source was asking for. Source was asking for something that was a collective creation by the people who are going to be part of it. And the energy comes in both in a visual sense, in an economic sense, or even people who will go there and really work to make it happen. So this is nothing to do really with Inelia Benz. It has everything to do with somewhere that we're going to create on the planet that's going to be here for the entire collective, the human collective, and every sentient species that is on the planet or has to do with the planet. And I was tapping into Gaia as well, and those are the little things that I love to share with you as well. But to finish off with the co-creation part of it, even though it was going to take a little bit longer, and it takes effort really for all of us. We're here today doing this Q&A, for example. It's going to take effort on all of our parts to make this happen. Is part of the process, so that it doesn't just arrive from somebody and here it is, right? Whether it's me or somebody else. And of course, I understood it at a very deep level. And when I was reading my article again, and I'm sure everyone here is familiar with it, but if you're listening to it after the fact, this recording after the fact, and you haven't seen the article, it's the Global Ascension Center for Global Ascension, I think it's called, on Ascension101.com. I was reading it again because I normally, when I write something like that, it comes right through, and then I have to read it several times to really get the message or the cues of how things are working or how it's going to work. And I saw a few key words there. For example, when I said the center is going to be in my name, and then as owner in inverted commas, because I understood that the ownership wasn't going to be mine, right? It wasn't going to be my center. So that's why it's inverted commas. But legally speaking, the center has to be protected. It needs a custodian, right? It really needs a custodian. And so I was looking at that, and then the words about, my concern and other people's concern is that it doesn't get hijacked, we don't lose it, and several other things that are very realistic in the present atmosphere we're still moving out of, which is a patriarchal society where we still have victim-aggressor cycles, and we have things like greed and other things that come into it. Plus, we have to be very, very cover all our bets, as it were. So I read on, and I saw the word trust on there. I would leave it, I was saying I couldn't guarantee the thing will continue after my death because I wasn't going to be there, right, as custodian. But the best thing that I could do was to leave it to people that I trusted completely. And then I had an email conversation with a friend of mine called Nate, who works for another center, and he sent me some information about the sovereignty movement, and also some information about common law trusts, irrevocable common law trusts. And one of the things that I don't want us to get into is to form some sort of organization, right? We don't want an organization where you have a CEO and a board of directors. So things like a company is out of the window, things like a charity is out of the window, but still we needed to make sure that we safeguard, first of all the donations that are coming in, and secondly, when we have the land and we have the center, to safeguard it against those who might want to take it over. And if it was in my name, if I die, I think the tax people or something will take the majority of the proceeds and the land that would have been in my name. So that's really not an option, even though I will be custodian of the land as well as several other people. So this is what we've decided. We've decided to create a trust that will hold all of these funds that are coming in and will continue to come in, and the land for humanity, basically. It was going to be held for humanity. And then when I was looking at it and I thought, yeah, we're going to hold it for humanity, and then I realized, well, there's other beings that are not just human that are very interested in this happening and for this energy to be held there and for this activation of source energy and Gaia energy to really, really flourish, to become lush with energy and life force. And so some of you have already clocked, as it were, the other entities who have the full, pure, clear, impeccable intention that we have in creating the center. And of course, there's some that we may call ultra-dimensional. There's some who we may call ETs, extraterrestrial. Some that we may call elementals. And so it's just absolutely wonderful, wonderful. So those are the little admin things that I wanted to tell you about before we continue. The other bits of information is that we have got a piece of land in mind. We're going to have a look at it next Sunday. And for all of you who sent the message that it was in the Hidden Valley, funnily enough, it's not in Hidden Valley, the actual geographical location named Hidden Valley, but the ranch is a hidden valley. It's just stunningly beautiful, really, really beautiful. But of course, we have to tap in into the the energy there, the entity there, and the elementals of the land, ask permission, see how they feel about it. And then, of course, we need to raise the rest of the money, which we'll need to purchase it or write off. No, we don't want to get into debts or loans. At the same time, there's a feeling or sense we will never do it in time, whatever, it's best to get into loans. But this is where we come in and say we have to be very strict in our knowing that we know how to go through this process of co-creation without any limits. Okay, we can do it. We can make it. We can make this happen. If we don't have, or when doubts and things like that come up, we can process those. We process those directly when they come up in ourselves. The other thing that I had to process personally with regards to the land was my a sense of that very sense, knowing that I wasn't going to be the owner, right? But there was a very huge pull on my own personal singular structure, personality, whatever, or even ego, to own it. Right? I want to own it. And I was looking at that and thinking, where is this coming from? Where is this coming from within me, as Inelia Benz, a created personality construct? And then I remembered I inherited a ranch in Chile a few years ago. I inherited part of it, and then the rest of it, I bought half of it from the other half from my father. And then my brother and sister assigned the ranch, their inheritance over to me. So at the end of the day, the ranch was mine. And I really, really, really loved that, having that property and having a ranch and the energy there and everything. Even though the ranch never really took to me, it never really, as it were, connected with me. And eventually, my brother and sister and I, and then my father also, because he was still part of that energy, decided to sell it because I had moved away from Chile and I couldn't manage it anymore. So that energy was coming through of that joy and just the becoming 100% a custodian of the land, because you can't really own Gaia. You can't really own a piece of land. It's just a ridiculous concept. Although a lot of people believe that they own their home or whatever, you can't really. It's all transient. You're there as custodian. But that joy and energy, once I realized it was the caretaker, the custodian energy that was coming through, I was able to see it and really, really disentangle all those energies of ownership and claiming of the land, right? We become custodians. So this brings us really nicely into what I'd like us to do first, because before we start with the questions, I would really like us to do a joint meditation. And this meditation is going to be partly guided and partly silent. And the aim of it is to become custodian of where you are living at the moment. So various questions come up about how do we do it and everything, but basically the technical aspects behind it are first of all, when we become custodian of a land, the land will support us and our journey, our life, in a very positive way. It's not about pain, it's not about suffering, it's not about lessons. It's about the support. It's like a very, very beautiful support structure that's there. Now, if you're living somewhere rented, you can become custodian of the space that you're using, right? For example, at the moment, I rent an apartment so that I can work there, because I work most of the time. During the day, I'm working, and then at night, I'm also working, processing things or journeying or doing other things. So for example, for this particular apartment, because it's not owned by me, and I do that in inverted commas again, we allocate the time space, particularly the space. So it could be a room if you're sharing a house with others. It could be your bedroom, or even your bed if you share your bedroom with others. And if you share your bed with another person, then the space, right? Any space that you would say, right, this is going to be my space right now. And it could be a time, like a particular time, so you can visualize that location for a particular time. So, for example, if you work somewhere, you can do it there too. And this is something I learned yesterday in another call that I'm doing, giving a course with some colleagues and friends of mine. And one of them showed it very, very beautifully how one could simply allocate a time space. But what we're doing today is slightly different in that we're becoming custodians of the location. Basically, it's a matter of, first of all, allocating the time space and then tapping into the natural energy that's there. Even if you're inside a building, there's natural energies inside that building. First of all, it's in a geographical location. So wherever you are, below your feet, even if it's several floors down, there's Earth, there's Gaia. And she can reach you no matter where you are, because you're made of her. You're made of Gaia's energy, your body is, I should say, to be more clear there. Your physical bodies and your subtle bodies are made of Gaia's material. And then what we do basically is ask for permission to be here, ask for move into the space and acknowledge the elements, acknowledge Gaia in that space, and you will feel it right now. You will feel that welcoming, loving energy. And then we put the intention there. Basically, we sit down and we put the intention of that energy from Gaia, that energy from that particular time space to amplify. For the energy, the supporting energies of that space to amplify. So we're just going to be breathing deeply, closing our eyes and just tapping into that and allowing. And now we're going to open a portal, as it were, in our intention of that location for source energy to be activated and flow without any hindrance into this space. And you might receive visuals, you may receive information, sense things. And if you're living with other people, you obviously can include them or into it, say this energy is supportive of their life. And anybody who enters this space will also go into that source energy. Now we're going to tap back into Gaia and ask her to come in fully into this space. We co-create with her the most supportive, the most beautiful space we can possibly even beyond imagine. And now we feel how source energy comes through the heart of Gaia and into our space as well. So it's coming in from every dimension, every direction, becoming activated and amplified. Oh, thank you. That's really awesome. All right, so now we're going to start with our questions and answers. And if you'd like to ask a question and you are on a call or on Skype, you can press *2 to raise your hand. And then Daniela will put you through.
So we have our first person asking. So I'll just unmute you now.
Hi, Inelia.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. I'm very happy to be here. I have been practicing your fear processing for some time, and it's really powerful. And but some blocks in the body seem to be very resistant. So should I just keep doing this and be patient, or just I do something for the body, physical body?
Yeah, I think the body, you have to address the body directly, and also the resistance. The resistance is like a firewall. So you would go in and say, resistance, you're welcome here, right? So you do the same process, but this time with resistance. Does that help?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Very good. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
And the next person.
Yes, hello again. Hello, Inelia. Very briefly, my question has to do with energy. When I do, or when I do the exercise about the anger, to clean anything related to anger, my concern is that knowing that the energy that when I'm going to be focusing on this anger, this form of whatever form it has of anger, that's the type of energy. And if I amplify this energy as big as Earth, what I'm trying to understand, if this energy is as big as Earth, it's going to be huge. And my concern is that it could impact other beings, other human beings, or any other beings. So how does it work in terms of this huge ball of energy that I want to release, but without hurting or affecting any other beings, given the fact that we're all interrelated?
Right, that's a really good question. Basically, when you're holding the anger within your field, within your body, that's when it's most powerful. Our bodies and our physical bodies and particularly our emotional body is like a huge amplification device. So if we are holding on to that at that level, we are affecting both our lives and the lives of those around us and the collective energy. That's why we process everything that's inside of us. Now, as we make it expand, as we make it, as it were, really, really acknowledge that it's there and really accept it and welcome it, and it expands, it gets spent, right? So all that tied up and enslaved energy gets freed, and then it can be reintegrated back into oneness as energy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I get it now. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yes, it's clear. Yeah, thank you so much.
Right, so the next caller to raise their hand.
Hi, I'm here with my 3 close friends. Well, one of them is away, but we all have a question for you. First, we want to thank you from the deepest place in our hearts for your work and the incredible impact it's had on our growth and our spiritual growth.
Oh, you're welcome.
And we strongly feel that the 4 of us are a soul group with a larger mission to bring life to this new reality that we're entering. And we want to make way for the fullest expression of flowing with that dharmic path. And particularly in the face of all this upheaval and changes we're seeing around us. And we want to know what's the most effective and efficient way for our group to manifest these thoughts and ideas and put them into tangible action.
Yes, and that's really interesting because that's exactly what we're doing with the center, isn't it? We are dealing with a group collective manifestation, basically. And I would say the first thing that the group could do would be to process any negative or belief systems around the creation of what you're trying to manifest. So you would go into it and then process any fears around it, any doubts that you may have, any limitations or any belief systems that say this is the only way we can do this. Right? Because if we process all that, we will open ourselves up to infinite possibilities of how it can come to be. Yeah?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Was there another question?
Oh, I've muted her.
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
I'll
bring her
just
back.
unmute her now. Yeah.
I think there was 3 people there that wanted to ask. So.
Do you guys have any other questions?
We're just sending love.
We're just excited and sending love.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. The next person to raise their hand.
Hi. I'm just wondering, where exactly is Hidden Valley Ranch? What area of California?
Oh, right. Well, it's not called Hidden Valley Ranch, but it is inside a Hidden Valley.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
It is confidential for the time being until we have the funds to put an offer on it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
And the next person to raise their hand.
Oh, hello. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Inelia, I want to thank you very much for what you're doing. It's I'm tremendously grateful to you, and I've been absorbing as much as I can of your teachings for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And I have a question. I wanted to get some guidance from you, and I'm just honored to have the chance to talk to you and everyone else online right now.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, about oneness and duality. I have information that's come to me within the last few months that I've been incarnated in this life to take part in facilitating some changes on Earth, and strange as it sounds, from what I understand, maybe making it easier for other higher dimensional beings to come into Earth. I don't know if that's the case, but I do have the sense that that's my purpose in this life.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're talking about oneness, I understand the need to not bear malice to people who are hurting other people, or bear malice to people, or be angry with people who are letting themselves be hurt. But I still have taken a definite side in the sense that I want to do what, I think I'm supposed to do. I may be not attached to the result, but I really want to take this stand. And for reasons I can't explain, I don't accept. So I don't want to have power over other people. I don't want that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And how does that how does that fit in with the non-duality or oneness principle that you talk about?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've chosen a side in a way, and I don't really want to abandon that,
right.
But I want to understand it better in the context of all this.
Right. That's really, really good. It's a very good question. And it's a very subtle type of non-judgment that comes in. Because you're absolutely correct. Part of the work we're doing is to facilitate higher vibrational beings to enter our planet and our experience. Not as gods or as any way superior to us, but simply beings who are ready to have a shared experience of co-creation on the planet.
Right.
So that means both people who are already incarnated on the planet, who have already finished their duality journey and want to move on and have a new experience, those will be classified, if we need to classify, as higher vibrational beings, right? And to enter fully into their power means coming into the planet as a higher vibrational being, as individuals. And those are like people that your neighbors, your family, yourself. You know, it doesn't mean that it's some extraordinary person out there, you know, or ETs or whatever. There are other beings who are ready and willing and waiting to enter the planet, whose vibration is higher even, so that at the moment they cannot survive here, right? So they're waiting for the shift to fully take hold and for us to do the work, and then they will be welcomed here by the collective. Now, the thing about judgment or taking sides, I can fully resonate with what you're saying there, because one of the things that I always say is that I'm not a light worker, but I am here to carry out the will of the human collective and the planetary collective, right? The planetary collective, both Gaia and the human collective and all the other sentient beings on the planet, are their collectives, like the dolphins, the trees, plants, insects, birds. All of their collectives made a choice. They want to experience something that it's beyond what we are doing now, right? It's something else. It's a different experience. And that was the choice of the collective. Now, in order to honor that choice, there are other experiences that will no longer be compatible with that one. It's not that they're better or worse, they're just different, right? So somebody who's stuck in duality, having power over others or needing others to be victims so they can help them, those are realities that are no longer compatible with everybody being empowered, right? So those people who have been out there helping and giving and everything for those who couldn't help themselves will be free to move on, because there won't be anybody that needs help. Do you see? So they can take the next step of evolution as well. Now, those people who choose to continue having a dual experience, a victimhood or an aggressor reality, they will move on somewhere else, because Gaia will no longer be able to support them. And then we go into all sorts of theories about how that's going to happen, right? But basically, the vibration will be too high for them to stay here asleep. It's as simple as that, right? They won't be able to stay here and continue to be asleep, so they can have that experience. And then they will go, and some people have consciously chosen to go with them even though they're awake, so they can have a journey of service to others, right? Because they received from other people and their journey, and thanks to other people's incarnation after incarnation that were there helping and giving, they were able to wake up. So they're moving on with them, with the new, like their new reality or their continuing reality of duality in order to help others. And once they're done with that, they can move on, right? They can go and have an experience of total empowerment where there will be no need to help others, because everybody will have the tools, information, and knowing of how to help themselves. Does that explain it at all, or?
Oh, no, very much. I guess the puzzle for me has been that I have a definite sense of commitment, or that's the direction I want to go. It's where I'm going, but I just don't know why I am, you know?
Yeah.
I don't, just the way I've always been, and I don't know why that is. So,
right, yeah.
So it's a mystery, I guess. But
you heard the call, probably. You heard the call of the collective, and you're here to help it happen.
Well, I guess that's it. Anyway, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Right, so the next caller.
Hi, hello?
Hi.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Okay. Oh, I have so many questions anyway. Also to thank you. I'm doing your field processor exercise, and also your Ascension courses help me a lot. It's getting a bit hard sometimes, but it's okay. I will survive. Anyway, I would like to ask, I heard that you're going to this SETI ranch in Washington somewhere?
Yes, we had totally planned to do that. Unfortunately, we won't be able to do it just yet. So that has been postponed for the time being. Once everything is in place and the energies are correct and aligned, and the the team can host the event, then we'll definitely be doing it. But until that time, it's going to be postponed.
Okay, then it's not going to happen in May or?
That's right. We had planned to do it in May. So it's watch this space kind of thing. We're going to see if we can make it happen.
Okay, I really would like to go in this kind of meeting.
Yes, definitely. I mean, we're definitely going to look and see where else we could hold it. And if there's some sort of alignment that we can do that type of retreat. It's actually talking about a retreat we had planned to do where we would have a type of meet and greet on the first day so everybody could meet each other and connect with everybody who was there. And then the second day was going to be a full day of silent meditation for the collective, which is extremely powerful, very, very powerful. So we need to, and obviously we're not just limited to one location, so we could look for other locations and do it. And other people also can organize it all over the planet.
Okay, that could be really nice. It's my intention to connect with more people with the same...
that you resonate with, yes.
Yeah. I don't know, around me, it's not a lot of people resonate somehow.
Yeah, I can understand. Yeah.
But okay. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye.
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 Right, so the next caller to raise their hand.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
We're getting a bit of an echo, so what you need to do is silence where you're listening, if you're listening on the web, and just use your mic. So let's see if that's working. No, I'm still getting an echo.
Is it better like that?
How are you listening on the web?
Yeah, on Skype.
Okay. Can you put it on? Oh, so I see what you're saying. Let me think of a solution here. Do you have a headset?
Headphone? No. Headset? No.
Okay, so we have to do it really slowly.
Okay. Right. So I'm very happy to be with you today, with all the people in the world. When we meditate, I saw a very nice area in the valley, as I see to the picture you sent to us, and it's a very wonderful area, and it's very powerful. And I saw a very big house, and we need to build it together. We need to, the humanity that needs it. And I felt the hurt of the earth, and it was so powerful. So we are back together to build it with earth, with our heart, and it's going to be built very soon. And the humanity needs it. It's time to do it. And it's an honor to participate to it with you in Inelia. Thank you very much for your help, and thank you very much for doing that.
All right, thank you, Patricia.
It's Valerie.
Oh, sorry, Valerie.
Thank you.
Right, so the next caller to raise their hand. Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hi. I'm wondering, I live in Missouri, so I can't get to California but about once a year. But I'd really like to participate in some way, in helping to create the center. And I'm wondering what I can do from here.
Right, yes. We're going to be setting up a website where people can input their ideas and maybe their know-how, like at a very, really get involved in the creation of the center. take part in the decision making and everything else too. And but hopefully that'll be up within the next week.
Oh, and what will the website be called?
The Global Ascension Center.com, I think.
Okay, yeah, if I Google that, I'm sure I'll find it.
Yeah, it's not up yet, so we have to get that organized.
Okay, and the other thing I was asking, are you going to be having any kind of a meet and greet event in early June, perhaps, in the California area? In the northern, yeah? Possibly
in May. We still haven't organized anything, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll be doing something in May.
Yeah, well, I can't get there till June, so.
Oh, darn.
I was just hoping one of these days I'll make one.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Right, so the next caller to raise their hand. Hello, Robert.
Hello. Thank you so much for arranging this question and answer and for an opportunity to contribute my vibrations and co-create with everybody. I feel so blessed to be involved, and thank you to everybody else that's participating as well. I acknowledged the ripeness of how this feels for me, this center, and there was no question when I first read your newsletter. I immediately was guided to send in economic support as well as feeling the psychic and emotional energy flowing. And with the meditation, I feel a pregnancy within me. And I'm curious if this meeting next Sunday, because I may be traveling through the area that you speak of on my way to do some skiing, if it's open for others to come and see the land with you.
You know, that would be an amazing thing if we could all turn up. I honestly don't know. The land, people needed all sorts of information from us before they would let us in. Because of the property and the value of the property, I think they need to register everybody who comes to see it. So that's something actually I can ask. I'm going to ask and see if other people can come with us to have a look at the land. But it's not something I can answer right away, obviously, because I really would have to ask the realtor and they would have to ask the owners, I think.
Well, thank you for that. I'm sure that if it's of value, then it will come to pass.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much.
I can't help it. It's coming through naturally.
Yes.
Lots of love to you all.
All right. Bye-bye.
Right, so now we're going to read some of the questions from the website. We had a few interesting ones. Just having a look. Does Gaia, the Earth, need our rituals, or is it enough to keep raising our vibration? Is there anything that Gaia needs from us? Thank you.
This is really good. Gaia is actually perfectly fine, right? She doesn't need any of us fussing over her. What she does want, and it's an invitation really, is for us to reconnect with her. She's already moved on. She's already in the new reality. She's already in the new dimension and vibration. And she's waiting for us. She's waiting for us to join her. Now, how can we do that? One of the ways is obviously to raise our own personal vibration and also to acknowledge her, that energy, the heart source energy from her. And if you're willing, if you want to say, yeah, I'd like to come with you. And she, it's not like she knows where we're going to end up. She doesn't. We're here in a journey together of co-creation and see what we can do, right? What we can create on this time space and this planet. And but yeah, she's basically waiting for us.
Okay. And The next question, Inelia, what is the difference between you and an ET?
Right. Well, basically, what we regularly call an extraterrestrial would be a soul construct or a person who has had a journey of evolution outside of this planet. Either outside of this planet in a physical level or outside of this planet at a dimensional level. And that's the people or individuals we would call ETs, extraterrestrials. Now, I haven't had an evolutionary journey anywhere at all. So I came in from nowhere, as it were, directly into this life. Now, my physical body, what makes up my genetic material, is both terrestrial and it also has some extraterrestrial matter in it. But that's not just me. That's everybody on the planet, right? Has genetic material, DNA, both from the planet, material that was taken from the planet, and three-dimensionality. And it was infused with other genetic material from other species, from other planets. And also, it's multi-dimensional or ultra-dimensional. So basically, at a physical level, we are of this planet, and we are also not of this planet. But at a soul level, some of us have had journeys of evolution here on the planet. Others have had journeys of evolution elsewhere, on different planets or in different dimensions. But that would basically be the difference between myself and an ET, is that I really haven't had a journey of evolution anywhere else except for this past nearly 46 years here on the planet. That would be my journey. So I'm thinking I'm probably just terrestrial, since that's the only journey I've had, has been on the planet.
Okay, and another interesting question. Considering that you are building the center in California, does this mean that California is safe to move to? What about the South Bay area? I'm wanting to move to California to be closer to the center, but I'm being called to be south of San Jose for the time being. Can you comment on the safety of living in California at this time?
All right, so this is basically what comes first, the chicken or the egg type thing. When we move in, I'm in California not because it's a safe place, personally, but because I was asked to stay here, and I know that many, many other people have been asked to stay here to stabilize the energies here. Because California is being bombarded from left, right, and center, and one of the reasons is that it is the center of communication of the planet. That's why Hollywood and other companies are set up here, because it's the energy here that communicates out into the collective as a whole. So, for example, this is an example I often give, things like the self-healing tools that have been around for many, many hundreds or even thousands of years, say in China or India, of meditation or other types of self-healing, were there for thousands of years. But it wasn't until they reached California that it suddenly, boom, went all over the planet, right? So that's why it's an important center. That's why it's coming under so much stress, so much attention from every side, really, and to stabilize it. So it's not about where do you want to move that's safe. It's where are you being asked to move to that you can be the most help. So basically, I looked, and there's some periods of time that I've been asked not to travel. And one of the reasons actually behind not being able to go to Iseti, one of the reasons is that I have been asked not to travel for the next few months. I think the first journey I'm going to make is in June. But to stay here in California so that I can help stabilize the energies here. So it's not about safety, it's about stabilization. And then being the most helpful, really. So when you're looking at moving, think to yourself, where can I be the most help? And if you have any fears with regards to safety, process those fears. Because the fact is that we live and die on this physical plane, body. Maybe that's going to change. I don't know. It's possible that we might change that and not have the necessity to die at a physical level. and change bodies, maybe, or maybe not, right? And so at the moment, really, really process any fears you may have about being safe, and then make your decision. So that would be it. Yeah.
There was someone else that had raised their hand. I'll just see who that was. It's a caller from Ventura Central, California. There's no name. Hello?
Hello.
Hi. Hello?
Hi. We can hear you.
Hi. Okay. Thanks for taking me in. I have a question pertaining to, like, how do we know we've changed, and how do we really get the tools? Because I feel like I may have changed, but I still feel like I don't really know how to use the tools I think I need. I don't know how to explain this exactly. Like, I feel lost sometimes.
So when you feel lost, it could possibly be a firewall coming in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would suggest that you process the feeling of lost.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling lost. So you go into your body, physical body, and your emotional body, and say, "I'm feeling lost. Where is that?" And really find it and process it.
Mm-hmm. But when you process it, does it just go to source, or does she kind of let you deal with it in case there's something like maybe you haven't actually gotten rid of the whole thing? Because sometimes I also feel like maybe I did get rid of it, but then it's like I feel like I may step back.
Now the key is in the vocabulary that you're using. You see, you're processing to get rid of, when in fact we process to reintegrate, to free energies and reintegrate them back into oneness. Where is oneness? It's inside of us. We are oneness.
Okay.
Right? So we reintegrate, we free the energy, we release it from that construct of fear or doubt, and then we embrace it, we welcome it back with love and light. So we don't get rid of, we don't process to get rid of.
Okay, and I have one more question pertaining to when we sleep, because, obviously we have some of those synthetic, I guess there's synthetic vibrations that aren't really good for us, and then there's also, I guess, other entities that want to hurt us. So how do we protect ourselves when we're sleeping?
Okay, so we can only be attacked if there is a sense of agreement to the attack, right? So fear is part of that agreement. Fear is part of the agreement. If you're afraid of something, you're giving it power. You're saying, you can harm me, and that's why I'm afraid of you. Right?
Oh, okay.
So I would say process your fears first, right? Process all of your fears. And then you can choose to not engage with those entities and beings. Now you can do it in two ways. You can put a circle, a red circle, and a line across it saying, you're not welcome here, right? To those, because you just simply choose not to engage with them. Right? Another way is just to turn and engage at your level of awareness, not theirs. You engage by looking at them. You simply look without judgment and allow source to come through you and into them.
Okay.
But most of the time, all you have to do is actually look and say, I want to see you. Just that with that intention, I really want to see you.
Yeah,
and that will do the trick.
Because once I did feel there was an entity, and I felt fear, but it was kind of like, I know who you are, and I want to be nice and, accept you for what you're not seeing in yourself. But then it's kind of like, I freaked out. So
well, that's because you're trying to be nice. We're not trying to be anything. We're just being. So there's judgment. You're judging it as bad. You're judging yourself as nice. Do you see? So that's why you have to remove all those and simply look at them without judgment.
No judgment. Thank you.
Yeah, no judgment.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'll see if there are any more callers raising their hands. To raise your hand, you can press *2. And we have an anonymous.
Hi.
Okay, there we go. It's a delay. My question is, how can I have a much deeper connection with my higher self so I can be more of a channel and more of a source of light for whatever I need to be doing, whatever that guidance may be, wherever I need to be going? As you mentioned, Inelia, quite often you're asked to step aside.
Yes.
I would like to be that servant also.
Right. Yes, it's becoming the tool of your higher self or source. A lot of people have resistance to that because they feel they will lose control or they will lose their free will. However, source never orders. Source simply requests, right? And we have a choice to follow that request or not to follow that request. And what I would suggest, I don't know if you have a meditation practice every day.
I do.
How long do you meditate for?
As long as actually I can hold the vibration, because sometimes I feel like I'm going to vibrate off the bed. I can't hold the energy, so.
Right.
So I actually listened to something 2 years ago, and I did have resistance. I remember now. So now I know that I'm not giving up anything by completely surrendering to love.
Right.
So I'm like, use me. What can I do? I'm open.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And make sure that you qualify that with source, right? Only source can use me.
Absolutely.
Because you'll have all sorts of entities and things and people called deities and things coming in saying, okay, I'll use you. And you don't want that, so.
No. I always use the divine light and love.
Yeah.
Or infinite intelligence.
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
That'll work.
So that's all I have to do is just keep saying, I'm here?
With regards to the vibration, the silent meditation, if you can do silent meditation, and the vibration if it gets too much, if you imagine a lever and then just use the lever to higher or lower the vibration, right? So that it doesn't become physically uncomfortable.
Okay, but how do I know if I'm hearing the message? Or the guidance,
It's a knowing. Whenever something comes through that is from source, it will be completely clear and there will be no dissonance on it whatsoever. So you have to develop a sense of discernment to make sure that it's not an interpretation from the ego or it's something that something else has injected into it, or whether it's something that you are interpreting through culture and belief systems. So in order to do that, you can train yourself to discern the complete clarity and truth from things that have been colored. So, for example, you can train yourself by saying something like, something real, it's like my body is presently sitting on a chair, and that will resonate completely pure and clear throughout your body when you're doing that. And then if you say you're sitting down and then you say, I'm at the moment my physical body is standing up, that will have a dissonance to it. It will react both at a physical and energetic level as dissonance. And then we train ourselves how to tell one from the other. Right? And
like muscle testing.
Sorry?
Kind of like muscle testing?
Yes, muscle testing is a good one too, yes.
Okay.
And then you can really use that to train yourself on how to read the information and really be really impeccable about it, really go for it.
And then I'm to understand that I will receive the information I need in the precise moment that I need it, not a moment before or after.
Absolutely. So on the need-to-know basis.
Right, gotcha. Okay, thank you very much.
On a need-to-know basis. And often then you'll have synchronistic events and information coming through your environment that will support and will validate what you received at an energetic or psychic level.
Okay, super. How do I not talk now so that I can not interrupt the call? Sorry.
That's okay. I'll mute you.
Okay, super.